Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another podcast. This time on the podcast we have Amit Singh. Welcome to the podcast, Amit.
Hi Yash, happy to be on the podcast. How are you
Sure. So
doing?
I'm great. I'm great. So I do this thing on the podcast which is kind of weird, but this is like a ritual now. So I ask the guests to introduce themselves because I'm really bad with introductions. So who is Amit Singh? What does he do?
Nice way to not speak. Hi guys, I am
Yeah.
Amit. I'm currently heading the growth for Flash.co. It's a early stage startup. It's a first of its kind concept. It's a email ID designed for shopping, which gives you a AI powered smart inbox. It tracks all your orders, shopping orders at one place, and it gives you rewards on every order you do. Before joining Flash, I was heading the marketing at PharmEasy for last 5 years, and before that, I have worked at Paytm for a couple of years. Uh, this is it, and I think excited to talk to
Sure.
Yash this podcast and exchange our learnings.
Awesome. So like right off the bat, as you mentioned about Famizi and Paytm, tell me about the folks you met there who have started, great folks you met there who you took learnings from during that phase. And as you said, like there's so talk me through that. How was that experience like?
So, see, top of the mind, if I have to recall people who have directly worked with at Paytm and who actually kind of proved pivotal in my professional and personal journey, there's a person called Nehul Malhotra. He is a co-founder of Genwise. They are building something really cool for the elderlies. I think
Hmm.
which is one of the areas which nobody is thinking about. I think so. They are building something really. I think you should check out Genwise. Uh, he's a I am a gold medalist, and I worked with him. I think for almost 1.5 years at Paytm. And I think one key thing or key learning that I picked from him during that days is the ability to uh, solve complex problems through simple frameworks. And I think problem solving as a skill itself is very handy, and I think it requires just common sense and your ability to analyze the data in a structured manner. I think second person top of my head from Paytm is Dhruv Dhanraj Bell. He was the C after Paytm. He was CEO at Bharat Pay for quite some time. I think with him I worked for 6 to 10 months. I think from him I learned the art of managing and leading large teams. I think at Paytm also he was leading a team of roughly 200 people,
Hmm.
and I think that was a great skill I picked from him. How do you manage larger teams? And I think I'm in touch with both of them. Sometimes we stick. Right now, I don't know. He's I think building something of his own and doing some angel investing. Uh, at PharmEasy, I because I worked for 5 years, I think I learned a lot and met quite a few exciting people from different fields. For example, my CMO Gaurav Verma, he's ex marketing director at Pepsi, ex CMO at Zomato.
Hmm.
So I had a crazy ride with him for 2 years. Learned the skills of brand building, how you create viral campaigns. Then my marketing VP Saumil, he had exposure
Hmm.
to FMCG before joining PharmEasy. With him, I created lot of great TV campaigns, and I
Interesting.
think the founders at PharmEasy, uh, one of the founders, Dhaval Shah, was a doctor
Hmm.
and a consultant at McKinsey before starting PharmEasy. So it was great fun learning things from him. Um, and I think Akshar Pathak, I don't know if you have heard about him. So he is the guy behind the viral creatives of Zomato. If you remember
Hmm.
back in the
Yeah.
day, BCMC
Hmm.
Zomato creative got viral.
Hmm.
So I worked with him also for 1 year at PharmEasy, and I think with him we were able to give the right tonality to our brand. It was a great learning experience working with these kind of folks. And obviously, I think keeping all those learnings, then I moved to Flash, where I think share an exciting bunch of I think
Hmm.
25 people, but it's a powerhouse, as I say. And here also we have people from different brands like Swiggy, Ola, Flipkart, people who have grown brand from literally 0 to 1 to 100 and have seen massive scale.
Hmm.
The startup is founded by Ranjit, who is the ex SVP at Flipkart. And I think it has been almost 5 months. Great learning experience for me. Also, it's a kind of a switch from
Mm-hmm.
healthcare to a very new consumer tech brand, which is aspiring to be a global brand.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A couple of questions off the bat, right? Firstly, how different is it working with a 25-man team than, let's say, Pharmacy, which was, I believe, a couple hundred people, I believe. So how does that change things? How do roles differ? How do
I
this kind of
actually get this question a lot, so I know.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
actually, it's a typical journey of a startup. Like you
Mm-hmm.
pick anybody in Bangalore, and they will tell you the same story. That's the joke.
Mm-hmm.
So any brand which is in the journey of 0 to 1, they generally typically have a small team. Although I am very surprised, and the people I talk to, they also get surprised that something of this stature that Flash is today is getting run by only a team of 25 people.
Mm-hmm.
When I joined Pharmacy back in the day, we have I think around a team of 50 people, 5 people in marketing team. We obviously grew a lot. We became unicorn, etc. We had a very large team at Pharmacy. But coming to Flash right now, I think one person is equal to 5 people. To be honest,
Hmm.
uh, that's the kind of talent, that's the kind of capacity everybody at Flash, and that's how Flash has been hiring also. The
Hmm.
kind of people we have hired till now, the core team. So every one person is equal to 5 people, and that's why the product is shaping so well. And I think that's the energy in the team today. So
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
having worked in 0 to 1 journeys, it was a natural fit for me. But somebody who has not been exposed to high paced startup environment, he might feel a bit different.
Very interesting. So, like, talk me through the ad campaigns or campaigns you positioned Farmizi with. Also, before that, I think this is something which I really wanted to ask because I talked to Zoeb, I believe, a couple of days ago. He's a VC at Sauce now, but he worked with a company which got acquired by a pharmacy. So he was also kind of acquainted with how pharmacy works and how that sector runs. And I asked him the question that why was pharmacy facing problems in the past few months? Because I believe they incurred huge losses and there was a huge problem going on. So talk me through that. Why do you think is that, considering pharmaceuticals is such a evergreen industry? Like from the periphery, it looks like it, but why do you think pharmacy had a problem with it?
So one thing is, see, whatever like we see on media and whatever the reality is, they are very different. And similar
Mm-hmm.
that thing applies to the startup ecosystem also. Whatever you see in the PR stories and whatever is happening inside the startups is very different, barring few cases. And you and I know what are those cases are.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just to give you a perspective, and I think this will help you understand. So let's say you are a user who buys. Let's say you are a so farm. First of all, pharmacy was catering to chronic patients. Chronic patient is somebody who is diabetic, blood pressure problem, thyroid,
Mm-hmm.
etc. And
Yeah.
once you have those conditions, either you detect it early, let's say in your early 30s or late 20s, and you somehow get rid of them.
Yeah.
But if you don't get rid of them by changing your lifestyle, etc., then these are with you for life.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to consume medicine no matter what. So, and imagine if you are a pharmacy startup and you acquire a
Mm-hmm.
consumer of this stature, this persona. So, CACs are roughly, it varies, but now that pharmacy has become a very good brand in terms of the services they have given and the brand that we have built, the CACs are fairly low compared to the industry,
Mm-hmm.
and the kind of LTV we are able to get out of these consumers is very high because
Mm-hmm.
these people have to consume every month, and you will be surprised to know that household spend of chronic patients is average 10,000 rupees. And you can
Interesting.
check in your
Hmm.
family or relatives also, people who are consuming these medicines, roughly they are spending 10,000 per person. And
Sure.
let's say two patients, so then it multiplies. So
Mm-hmm.
the churn out or the retention is very low for chronic patients. So hence, compared to let's say a D2C business, which obviously they are also doing phenomenally well in today's world, but the retention rates are very problematic, and that's why your profitability never kicks in.
Interesting.
The brand like pharmacy, that's why all the brands are, and all the reports you will like, reliable reports you will go through right now, everybody will say that pharma as a sector itself is expected to do phenomenally well, because
Mm-hmm.
of obviously, one, people are more aware now after post COVID world that they have to take care of their health, and obviously
Mm-hmm.
because of our lifestyle we are
Yeah.
prone to more chronic diseases, and the penetration of internet, hospitals, pharmacies is phenomenal right now. For example, pharmacy right now caters pan India, all the pin codes in India.
Yes. Interesting. So, how did you guys position pharmacy in a way that people would buy medicines through pharmacy other than going to their general chemist or like medicine person? Yeah.
So our core or the vision of the brand is uh, simplifying healthcare, impacting lives. That was the vision which we started the brand back in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
That we wanted to simplify healthcare and impact lives, and we wanted to make it accessible also to everybody. We
Yes.
started with only medicines, but as the business grew, we got more funding and we started. So basically, we always envisioned pharmacy as a one-stop shop for all the healthcare needs. So let's say you need medicine, you have pharmacy. You need lab tests, you have pharmacy. You need insurance, surgeries, anything, you have pharmacy. Just one place for all your medical needs. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the ecosystem we are building. The pharmacy is building right now. I'm no more
Mm-hmm.
with them,
Yeah.
but that's the vision they have, and that's what the ecosystem they are building right now. So tomorrow you are a consumer, you have any health related issue, from medicine to lab test to contacting a hospital to getting a health insurance, everything is at one place. And with
Interesting.
obviously the penetration of mobile and internet, we are able to penetrate to tier ones, tier two, tier threes, and everywhere.
Interesting. Talk me through the campaigns you led at pharmacy.
Yeah. So that was the core like vision of the brand, that simplifying
Mm-hmm.
healthcare and making
Yeah.
it lives easier. But when it comes to creating campaigns, doing brand marketing, so in today's world, you see there are a lot of brands competing against each other, and the attention span of users is decreasing, like year
Mm-hmm.
by year or day by day, whatever you say. So your ads have to be clutter breaking, at the same time telling your like brand propositioning, like what is your brand proposition is.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a lot of we invested a lot of time in researching what are the pain points of the consumers, and we never competed against any online pharmacy brand. For us, we knew
Hmm.
that our competition is offline consumer, because
Sure.
people are buying medicines offline and we want to tell them buy medicine
Mm-hmm.
from us. And that's why I think we were working on the we understood the discount is one problem. So imagine somebody spending 10,000 rupees in a
Mm-hmm.
month on chronic medicine. If you give him 20% discount, that's
Mm.
2,000 rupees of saving in a month. In
Yes.
a year, it is 24,000 savings.
Mm. Yes.
That's the power of online penetration, because you cut down the mediators in the
Mm-hmm.
supply chain. So that's what that we understood. One is obviously discount. Second is availability of medicines. So let's say if you're consuming 5 to 6 medicines, you have to travel to
Mm-hmm.
five different medicine.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
availability of all medicines at one place. Third is convenience, like getting delivery of medicines at one place. So if you see most of the campaigns that we have created, we always spoke about these pain points, yet in a humoristic way, because
Mm-hmm.
although it's a very serious space,
Serious topic. Yeah. Yeah.
day one we wanted our campaigns to be funny, to be clutter breaking. So we came up with this line: farm easy, take it easy, farm easy. It was taken
Mm-hmm.
from Urvashi.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Yeah.
And all our researches after our first campaign went live in October 2018. People
Mm-hmm.
came back and said, we remember that drink, like the tone, that noise. And then we took the rights of that particular uh, farm easy, take it easy, farm
Mm-hmm.
easy. And every subsequent campaigns we created, we had that.
Use that. Yeah. Hmm.
And then we used dance as humor. Sometime we used Bollywood as humor. and one campaign we did during work from home was speaking. Um, so we use different instruments from branding per se, but the problems that we was solving at every stage was discounting, availability of all the medicines, and convenience when we deliver all the medicines at your place. Recently, we came up with the idea when we launched diagnostic services. We are now
Mm-hmm.
we are live after we acquired Thyrocare.
Mm-hmm.
So there we had this promise on time or free. So for
Mm.
example, book a slot with a phlebotomist,
Yeah,
and if he doesn't come on time, so we
that's
give
great.
it free.
Interesting.
But the
Mm.
problem is if you book a lab test, then you have to fast also. Then people
Mm.
have to go for classes or school also. So if
Makes
your
sense.
flight get late, then your entire schedule is also
Mm-hmm.
gone
Makes sense.
lost. So these are some of the bigger campaigns that we created. But then, if I have to talk about the tonality of the brand, we wanted obviously on the mass media we are making some clutter breaking and very successful campaigns. But on the channels like YouTube, Instagram, or even our push notification, when we are talking to consumers, we can't send too many like salesy communication.
Yeah.
We take 20% discount, take this, that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that. Why are you not sick? Why have you not come back?
Why are you not sick? Yeah.
Yeah. So we
Makes
can't
sense.
do this kind of things. So then, in those channels, our tonality was with empathy. For example, if you go to the Instagram page right now, Family, you will say कि अपना ध्यान रखना.
Mm.
And this was a
Interesting.
tonality in all the social media and push notification everywhere. So it was like a health companion who is taking care of you and who is always with you.
Interesting, very interesting. So, a couple of questions off the bat, right? So, how can a brand optimize push notifications well in terms of like, let's say in this context, like because push notifications like almost सबको ही दिख जाएंगे, like it's not something you can like miss. So, what type of tonality do you think will be less like the least annoying, but like will have the most conversion rate? Like, what's the way to use that well?
See, one thing that is like universal for every brand is personalization.
Hmm.
The moment credit tells you कि your SBI card ending with XYZ digit is up
Mm-hmm.
for payment, it's a very personalized communication, and you will most likely to click on it. If a pharmacy sends you कि your you bought a, let's say, BP medicine, and they know कि it is going to get over and you need a refill, and they tell you कि please refill your medicine.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very personalized communication. So this applies across industries, across brand. The more personalized you can be, the more likely you are getting to get response from the users. But where it can be brand specific is there has to be certain tone of the brand. For example, the tonality today you see of Zomato or Swiggy,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
maybe
very
some
easygoing,
someone in the fintech space might not
for sure, for sure.
replicate that. So fintech has to be slightly more nuanced and serious,
Serious,
but
yeah.
food category like Zomato, Swiggy can be different. So the tonality has to be different for different brands. And I think lot of data and research goes behind cracking the like what works with the consumer. Obviously, whatever you see on screens and on push notification, you see that's what brand managers do. But at the back end,
Yeah.
people are really spending a lot of time. Like what kind of keywords are actually giving you better CTRs, better final conversions. So I think for it is keywords and tonality has to be brand specific depending on what category they are in. But there are certain universal rule like for example personalization. This can be brand
Mhm.
agnostic or category agnostic. The more personalized you are, more response you are likely to get from consumers.
Very interesting. So, what steps you're taking in order to make Flash go like a big brand? Like, what are certain what tonalities do you think at the moment you have kind of finalized, and do you think like at least in the next 3 months you want Flash.co to be known as like this type of a company? Like, what are those things?
Yeah. So, when we launched the app six
Mm-hmm.
months back, well, to be honest, we have not done too much marketing, and
Yeah.
if I were to tell you the numbers, they are phenomenal. Like we have around already 600K users on board in last 6 months.
Very
and
interesting.
we are right now processing somewhere around, I think, we have processed, I think, already 5 million orders till now
Hmm.
in
Very
first 6 months.
interesting. Hmm.
And in so the concept that we are, nobody is doing this in India, nobody is doing this globally. So for example, nobody is giving you order tracking at one place of your different D2C brand, different
Mm-hmm.
online orders. On top of that, they are not giving you rewards and then insights on how much you are spending across brands. But I think if I have to look at similar brands, there are a lot of brands which gives you cashback on every order.
Yeah.
And you, if you have to think, there will be hundreds of brands who are doing like cashback, cashback, cashback.
Yeah.
And from day one, we are clear that we don't want to position ourselves as a cashback brand, because for us, we are building this product for India and for the globe for power, like it's an internal term, it's power shoppers. The power shopper
Hmm.
is a shopper who is spending like online, who is doing, let's say, 100 transactions in a year or 8 to 10 transactions in a month across different brands, and spending 8 to 10K in a month or 100K in a year. So for
Yes.
that kind of a
Interesting.
consumer, we are making the app, and we want to make it like slightly premium, but in the same way fun also. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the fine balance we are trying to crack. And parallelly, as we speak, our brand positioning, new look of the brand is work in progress. Maybe in next, I think, 30 to 45 days, you will see the new designs and
Mm-hmm.
everything live.
Interesting. So, who are like your ideal user personas? Let's say, let's say three ideal user personas who are power shoppers in your category. And what are the demographics in general? Like इतने percent लोग ये type के हैं.
So to be honest, if I'm to tell you the very lowest hanging fruit or a very wide audience, so anybody between the age group of 20 to 45 is my target audience.
Hmm.
But if I have to further break it down, so then there are users from, let's say, 25 to 45, or let's say 30 to 45, who are maybe working as senior managers or executive levels, who are basically
Hmm.
earning well, doing obviously shopping across platforms online for different Amazon, Ola,
Mm-hmm.
Uber, for beauty, for etc. So these kind of people are really liking the feature of spam-free protection, aggregating all your insights at one place. At the other hand, like we were talking about college students, for example.
Yeah.
So 20 to 25 people who are doing their post graduations or maybe early in their job, they are also shopping online. Like I'm sure you must be also shopping online today,
Yep.
and you must be easily doing 15 orders in a month. Maybe
Yeah.
thoda
Close to.
percentage hoga Uber, Swiggy,
Hmm.
and Zomato, but you are also doing the transactions and maybe not spending that much money, but still you
Mm-hmm.
also fall in that category. So, and these set of consumers, they are really liking the cashback feature, and that's, I
Sure.
think, by
Yeah.
nature also easy because they are not earning too much. But obviously,
Mm-hmm.
they are also a potential consumer for us, because eventually you will upgrade, you will start earning more. So, and I think email is something, like for example, if I ask you email,
Hmm.
uh, Gmail comes immediately back of your mind. But
For the most
if
part,
I
yeah.
else maybe 15 years ago, if I asked somebody what is like email, he might have told me yahoo.com, Rediff mail,
Right.
etc. etc.
Yeah.
But right now, email is Gmail,
Hmm.
and people don't literally like really switch from the emails they are using.
For
So,
sure.
and
Yeah.
the retention also, whoever is switching to Flash.co, they are continuing to use Flash.co. They are not switching back to Gmail or any other
Mm-hmm.
uh, email.
Interesting.
So
So,
the
yeah.
ideal persona is basically, this is in terms of age, people from tier one metros, and spending roughly 10K to 12K in a month, and shopping across online platforms.
Interesting. So my question is, what is it to do with like email? Like, do you think there are like other ways to handle it? Because I think email from the get-go kind of is a little bit intimidating for everybody, right? Because if let's say you get a new domain email, like in order to set that up in, let's say, Gmail or any other mail provider, it takes you at least like 10 minutes to do. That kind of intimidates you. Do you think like email is still the right way to go in like this scenario where people are a little bit more like I think a little bit laid back while making transactions or in general while shopping.
Fair question. So the thing is, in India, in the
Hmm.
last 4 or 5 years, all the brands you shop online, they have optimized, like, your mobile number has kind of become your identity.
Yes.
That's what we call. So we are creating a new shopper identity through the Flash.co email. In India, obviously, mobile is the primary identity. Email is the good to have or secondary identity. But still,
Yes.
if you, let's say, come across shopping on D2C brands, there they
Hmm.
ask you for email also because they rely on email
Yes.
marketing, etc. So traditional brands, for them, mobile number is the primary key, email is secondary. Although email is very important because, let's say, you shop on Amazon, you get your invoices on email only. You don't get it on your SMS, for example.
Sure. Yes.
So email is there in the ecosystem. It's just that it's not the primary channel for most of the bigger brands, but it is for D2C brands. But if you go out of India to global markets, the picture changes. The primary identity is
Is
email.
email. Yeah.
And obviously, as I said, we are building the product for the globe, not just for India. So that's why we are very confident that it might seem as a hindrance as of now, but this is a very, I think,
That's the optimum way to go,
high
at least for the next one.
potential
Yeah.
product for the globe, and we'll see very high adoption also. And we
Interesting.
have done some homework also before launching the
For sure.
product.
For sure. So like just a general question, like
Yeah.
has it like penetrated enough like outside India?
United enough, as in, like, we have not gone to
Gone.
international markets as of now. We are planning to do this year. Till now, we have only launched the product in
Hmm.
India.
Interesting. So like this is like a very general, like very surface level question that almost everybody has, right? Like where do these cashbacks come from? Like it seems like a very surface level one, but like at least a lot of people like do not really know how that works. So just like let's say for a like an 18-year-old, like how would you explain that? How do cashbacks actually work? How do companies benefit from it? Like what's the way? How are they calculated? How
So
this is going to be a reel, by the way. So like in that sense,
yeah. So I
yeah.
have to very oversimplify for you and for the
Mm-hmm.
audience. So every brand has a marketing budget, and
Yes.
in the last 1 2 years, you might have heard about lot about sustainability, profitability, sustainable growth. So earlier, what people were doing was they were blowing money to acquire consumers. They were giving 100 rupees off, 100 rupees dish pay, for example. But slowly, you might have seen that people are giving lesser discounts because they are
Mm-hmm.
not moving toward profitability because this cashback is coming out of brand's pocket.
Hmm.
Let's say you are shopping on buying food on Zomato, Swiggy, or any brand. Mostly, in most of the cases, the cashback is coming out from the brand's pocket. And then obviously it goes into the calculation of how much cost you are incurring to acquire a consumer. So let's say you are acquiring a consumer, you are spending 300 rupees on performance marketing, then you are giving him 100 rupees coupon. So, and you are spending, let's say, 50 rupees on shipping the product. So net you are spending 450 rupees in acquiring one consumer. And tomorrow, if you don't repeat with that consumer, then your money is down the drain. Coming back to Flash, so in our case, we are fortunate enough to have really great partners on board since the inception. We have brands like Myntra, Swiggy, Flipkart on board as partners, Uber,
Mm-hmm.
and in some of the cases, the cashback is funded by Flash. In some of the cases, it is co-funded by the brand.
Interesting.
And to be honest, like, I have seen different phases in Paytm, PharmEasy, in some D2C brands. The CAC we have right now, CAC is cost of
Cost of
acquisition
acquisition.
of one
Mm-hmm.
consumer. It is way below than the traditional e-commerce brands are doing right now. Obviously, I can't reveal the number, but
Mm-hmm.
and that's the vision we have, because we are not spending or blowing our money
Mm-hmm.
to acquire consumers crazily. It is organic growth backed by some referrals and social media marketing. That is helping us really great in terms of growth in the last 6 months.
Very interesting. Talk me through the e-commerce sector a little bit, right? So if you are you like active on Instagram by any chance?
Yeah.
So if you have seen there are a lot of apparel brands coming up, like everybody is almost launching an apparel brand. Why do you think that is, and how does that change the market? Like at least that's like I think clothing is probably the entry level I think product for like e-commerce, right? So now that's becoming easier to build. and a lot of people are sort of transacting. How does that change the market, at least in the e-commerce
So
space?
first, I'll give you some perspective on e-commerce and then
Mm-hmm.
newer
Sure.
brands and then why apparels suddenly is booming. So right now we have, I think e-commerce is growing phenomenally well in the last 10 years, and it is projected to grow in next 7 years also at a CAGR of roughly 20%. And that's a
Mm.
very good growth story. Right now we have
Yeah.
around a market of around 75 billion and some 190 million shoppers who are shopping online. That's the power of internet and all those things. And then comes your D2C brands. So roughly you will be amazed to know that there are roughly 80k D2C brands across categories in India.
Mm.
And I'm sure I'll come to why people are like opening the apparel brands, etc. Have you bought recently anything on Amazon, like you search for any t-shirt or anything? Have you come across brand Amazon Basics?
Yeah, I have Amazon Basics. Yes.
Yeah, right. So obviously, so it's basically a private label brand of Amazon,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they have the power of data. They understand what are the most searched products or what are the most
Mm-hmm.
bought products, and
Bought
that's why
products.
they're launching their own private label brands in those products. And the beauty is, whenever you have your own private label brands, the margins you can command are too high. For example,
Mm.
just to simplify this margin theory, so for example, you are selling, let's say, something, you are selling a 500 rupees t-shirt of your own brand
Mm-hmm.
versus you are selling a 500 rupees t-shirt of, let's say, a brand, let's say, Snitch, for example.
Mm.
So Snitch, it's a branded product. They might give you a gross margin of, let's say, 20%, for example.
Yes. Mm.
You are a seller, for example. And versus you have your own brand, which is of 500, there you might have a 70 to 80% of gross margin.
Mm. Interesting.
So
Yeah.
the more you sell your brand, the more amount of profitability or more revenue you will get versus selling somebody else's brand. And categories like apparel, to be honest, for example, this is a joke and this is a reality also,
Mm.
that all the Zara's, H&M and Raymond's and all these brands, Mango,
Mm.
etc., they all get stitched at the same warehouse. It's
Yeah.
just that the label
Makes
is different.
sense. Mm-hmm.
The power of that's the power of the brand.
Makes sense.
And slowly, if you build a good brand, then you can command a premium on the same product. So today, let's say for example, you start your own brand, let's say Yash t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Today you
Mm.
are selling at, let's say, 299 rupees. But if
Yeah.
you are really able to crack the game and build a strong brand, then tomorrow you can command a premium cost for the same t-shirt. A
Makes
very
sense.
good example for this is jaywalking. Since you are in Bombay,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
let's be exposed to jaywalking. So
Mm-hmm.
those t-shirts are like 3,000, 6,000,
Yeah.
easy. And there is no MRP, matlab, you don't know what is the
Yeah.
MRP.
That's true. My hypothesis around like these apparel brands is like there's this thing that recently came up was which was print on demand, if you know that. So it's
Yeah.
like it's a plugin that you install on your Shopify account and it prints designs on your t-shirts on demand. So like you do not even own your apparel. Like it's you don't have like a set cost price for per item. It's like a subscription fee for print on demand. They have like their warehouse, I believe in Chennai or something, and then they print on demand based on their orders, and that's why like the input cost is like abysmally low. Earlier people used to like print a couple of t-shirts pele se so that they could sort of sell, but now it's like become very easy. Like one of my friends recently launched like two of my friends, one of them launched like a normal apparel brand. It was, I think they named it Resify or something. Do you know what Riz is?
Resify.
No, it's called Resify. Do you know what Riz is? RIZZ.
RIZZ. Riz.
It's like a Gen Z term. So he figured like that name would do well, and it actually did well. Like they were doing like 3 lakhs a month with like very very minimal input cost. So that's that. Other than that, there's a guy called Shanzil. Like he's one of my guests, like an ex guest from the show. Ka dost hai. They're building something in the AI apparel space. So it's like it's basically print on demand, but you use an AI model to generate a design. The user uses the model on the site. Once you're satisfied with the design, then you print on demand. Like they use print on demand like in the background. That's what it is. I think making an apparel brand has become easier than ever. And plus like reels, like I think that's the only way at least apparel brands, at least the Indian ones market.
Like seen jaywalking is one. Then there is a brand called Blue Orange. They are also
Yeah.
very premium brand if you have come across. And some of the older brands, for example, Babekoof.com.
Yeah.
Going through recently, that they also have this print on demand. So you can go on their website, you can get your design text printed on a t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, I think 10 years back, when we used to do this thing for our college fest and when we used to get our t-shirts printed, I
Hmm.
remember we used to have some minimum quantity of 50 t-shirts, 100 t-shirts, and
Yeah.
then they used to print. But now that's not the case. And that's why I was talking to you about personalization in communication. This is also, I think, another thing because apparel, maybe if there is personalization, for example, gifting as a category is also
Hmm.
picking up, and personalization has a very big role to play in that. For example, recently somebody gifted, we had a secret Santa, and
Hmm.
somebody had to give something to me, so he gifted a chessboard.
Hmm.
And if you open that chessboard, so obviously you can play chess also, and
Yeah.
inside there was a bar setup, like there were short
Hmm.
glasses with my name written on it. So it was really
Interesting.
a game changer when you personalize gifts also, and that is a so. For example, there are Ferns and Petal, IGP. These brands have really boomed in last 2 years because on the back of gifting and personalized gifting.
Very interesting. Are you into chess though? Like just a general question.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
But
like
right now, not playing actively, but I really used to play.
interesting. Like because if you were like into chess, like I was going to ask you about the chess brand in general, like the way the elite tournaments are sort of being branded, and the way
Yeah,
that
but
like.
I think chess culture itself, like I know one of my senior from IMT,
Mm-hmm.
he is from I think Lucknow,
Hmm.
and he is very passionate about chess. And
Mm-hmm.
I think in last 2 years they have created some kind of community also, and they have some online, offline meetups, tournaments, etc. Even influencers like this guy
The Samir and other folks, right?
Arena and all, like he
Uh,
tied up with Pania Sachdev, who is a
mm-hmm.
like a player. They also did a lot of streamings and all. And I think chess is again, I think becoming popular because a lot of young folks also becoming grandmasters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my question around this, like because you're someone who works in the branding and like the growth sector, right? So there's a branding problem in chess. So the
Mhm.
problem is simple, the very simple that chess is a very elite game,
Mhm.
but you cannot watch it. Like you cannot watch like a 6 hour long game in one shot. So the audience numbers are very low. So that's why a lot of sponsors just do not pay that much of a money, and that's why people do not invest in. I mean, the chess tournament guys do not invest in a lot of marketing, so they don't end up getting that many numbers in general. So how do you think, from a branding perspective, can chess solve that? Like how can you get more numbers or viewers on chess tournaments, and in turn make more money as an industry? Because if you compare it with golf, right, golf is also a gentleman's sport. Like it's supposed to be a very elite sport, and they make a lot of money, and like a lot of brands put in, like, and if you think about it, the richest golf player would be richer than the richest chess player. And that's
Yeah.
a simple way to
Yeah.
put it. So how do you think chess can solve that?
I think this is my personal, not just about chess, but personal theory. What I've seen in last 2 3 years, and it's a commonsensical thing. Like जो दिखता है वो दिखता है.
Hmm.
So I have seen in general chess players. I don't remember any chess player being vocal on social media. For example, I know about Samarana and Tanya Sachdev because they are very vocal, they are very active, they are very visible and seen. But in general, if you see any
Like the
Indian
top
player,
people are not, yeah.
they are not very talkative, not very visible. I
Hmm.
remember back in the day, like 5 years, 5 6 years back when he had a battle with Vishwanathan Anand, there used to be a lot of chatter around it on social media, and we used to watch the matches because it was so intense. There was
Hmm.
so much content about him, like how he, mesmerizes his opponents, do that, this. So we were really keen to looking forward to see those matches, but I don't see that happening in this space. For
Hmm.
example, anything that is hyped or there is correct PR for that event. For example, you see UFC,
Hmm.
like हम सब बोर हो गए थे WWE देखने के बाद, ठीक है? At
Yeah.
some point, WWE died down, but they are
Hmm.
doing, I think, great PR again. They have some loyalists also, but they are getting new audience also. Similar thing with UFC also. There is so much drama and so much PR happening off the track
Hmm.
that is getting people's attention that what is happening on field. So I think one thing is the uh, maybe with like back in the days when there was used to be very much talk about how India versus Russia is a thing in chess because
Hmm.
we could read about those things, and maybe newspaper was the only medium. But
Yeah.
right now, I think everybody is on social media, and I feel in some way there has to be chatter about it, maybe from the federation or maybe from the players. Then
Hmm.
only, for example, you follow tennis.
I do not, but like I might know a little bit, but
Any
yeah.
player you know?
I mean, Nadal is the way like Nadal is different from other players. Like Nadal really didn't have it easy. That's what I've heard. Like
Any
he has a
sports
story
you
behind
follow?
it.
Any in general, any sports you follow?
I think I only follow chess. That's like
I think
the
that's the
problem.
only.
Yeah, yeah.
But in general, if you see the point I'm coming to, for example, if you go to any
Mm-hmm.
sport also that is popular, for example, 5 years back from now,
Mm-hmm.
people were crazy about La Liga.
Yeah.
Liga is basically the league of Spain,
Mm-hmm.
and La Liga itself is a very big tournament in the history. But
Mm-hmm.
last 5 years back, for continuously for 10 years, it was a very hype tournament. Only because Ronaldo was playing against Messi, not because
Yes.
of the clubs. But as soon as both of them left their respective clubs, now nobody goes to watch La
Mm.
Liga. Although it is still a very big competition, but from India maybe, and overall global viewership has gone down because the two main characters have come out of La Liga. So that's why I feel it's the power of individuals, it's the power of correct PR
Very
that is
interesting.
maybe lacking.
Do you think like induced banter, which is artificially created by brands, do you think that's a good way to look like to generate hype around certain events? And like, what are certain good examples that come to your mind when I say this?
So I actually personally have done something on this.
Interesting.
So in 2020,
Hmm.
so whenever IPL happens in India, so there
Hmm.
is a lot of interstate rivalry. For example, Bombay versus Delhi, Delhi versus
Yeah.
Bangalore, Punjab versus this and that, Bangalore versus Chennai. Very like healthy batters and all.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and this is also insight when we were doing the research that if we can plug in something in this banter, somehow we can plug in farmies in this. That will be great.
Hmm.
So we did a campaign called Cricket Ka Tonic,
Hmm.
and so we tied up with Tynor. They create GIFs and all. So
Mm-hmm.
if you write Farm Easy on Tynor, etc., you will still get those GIFs. There are
Mm-hmm.
bandits, injection,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
etc. And it really went viral. You won't believe we had 1 billion impressions in 2 months.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Simple, like let's say Delhi versus Bangalore is happening, you lost, so
Mm-hmm.
Bangalore people are sending Bernal, or like Bernal
Yeah.
is the
Yeah,
pan
it's a
India,
meme in which way. Yeah.
चोट पे मलहम लगा लो, बैंडेड लगा लो, ये लगा लो, वो लगा लो. So we did a massive campaign and it really took off.
Mm-hmm.
And we never estimated that we'll get 1 billion impression, but obviously because it was, you know, it's for example in college you see, right? You have two different hostels. If you are competing
Mm-hmm.
against each
Yeah.
other in sports, in anything cultural event, there is a sense of competition,
Makes
and then
sense.
you participate more. So I believe that banter or even artificial banter, if we can bring in chess for that matter, that will really help. Because as a kid I was really excited यार कि Magnus Carlsen ऐसा क्या करता है कि his opponent gets hypnotized. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you have heard these kind of things, but there
Yeah.
was rumors कि he hypnotizes his opponent. And
Yeah. Like he
so
has this thing where he adjusts the pieces while the time is running out in like blitz
yeah.
events. If he's playing someone who's not that strong. So he lets the time run out till like 15, 20 seconds. He lets like 15 seconds go and then he's like then he plays the move. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's he
So
has this like
I
power
was
moves.
really, and had I not heard about it in social media or
Mm-hmm.
rumors about it, no, I would have never watched this match. But only because of this reason, I was looking forward. Yeah, let's see how we play. But what are your thoughts? Because you are active, I think.
I think in general like last year if you remember you might have heard this name called Hans Niemann.
Hmm. I think
Suna रहेगा.
maybe.
So this guy, I'll tell you what happens. So this guy is like a 19-year-old guy from the States. And there are ELO rankings in chess, right? So if the highest rated player right now is Magnus, who's 2830, around 2830, and then Hans Niemann was 2700 back then, which is also a great rating for someone who's 19 years old, and he's very promising as a player in general. So he defeated Magnus in like a Nimzo Indian, which is a very well-known, studied opening. Like, it's difficult to defeat someone of Magnus's caliber in a Nimzo. That's what he did. And then Magnus just randomly pulled out of the event because he suspected him of cheating.
I remember this. Yeah.
And this was a huge thing, and the leading theory behind this was that Hans Ziemann was using anal beads, which sounds like something which like people won't take seriously, but that's what people thought. Like, the people like, okay, this makes sense, and that was the leading story. And after that, chess kind of boomed, because even Elon Musk, I believe, tweeted about this, and it kind of boomed like after this, like, because there's this weird banter. And imagine, like, chess players in like suits and like that beads, like, what that's what. So I think some banters like that might help chess. And apart from that, in general, like the way influencers are sort of making content, I think Gotham Chess is someone who's building that. So okay, let's come to influencer marketing, right? So what do you think is the right way to have influencer marketing in the fintech space? Because if you think about it, I believe there was this some law passed by SEBI, or some statement in which there are certain restrictions for someone who is making content about the fintech space. So how do you guys pick the right influencer, and do you think influencer marketing is the safe way, or is it even safe for marketing fintech products?
So about that SEBI thing, yeah, you are right. There were some regulations put in place because obviously people were like influencers were misleading people. For them, it is obviously they earn some money out of creating a video, but then whatever they are saying, if people are following that, they are incurring huge losses, and it is not ethical. Also, I would say, and that's what differentiate good influencers from not so good influencers. So today, like for example, I personally follow somebody like Akshay Srivastava, for example, and not because he is not someone who gives you stock tips or anything, but he teaches you macroeconomics, macro trends, how to analyze businesses, and how to put your money or take your bets in life or on your personal money. So and my take is there are so these influencers, I see them as, for example, I see them as different TV channels. For example, back in the day, you used to have TV channels. We were like, watching different TV channels. Like your mom and my mom were watching, maybe let's say Kahani
Yeah.
on Star Plus. You were watching, let's say, chess. I was watching, let's say, cricket or football. So we were watching different kind of channels, and brand managers were throwing different type of ads. उनको अगर तेल बेचना है, साबुन बेचना है, तो Star Plus पे ad आएगा. If they want to sell something to men, for example, X deodorant, they will advertise to us on Star Sports.
Makes sense. Yeah.
That's how they were doing it back in the day. Now, obviously, TV is on the declining trend, and digital media, influencer, this is on the rise. So every creator has certain kind of a niche, and they have this loyal community who is like-minded and who are expecting a certain kind of content from their consumers. For example,
Yes.
tomorrow somebody like Elvish Yadav, who is a Big Boss fame, and he gives me advice on my personal finance and how to invest. I will not listen to him.
Yeah, makes sense.
But
Yeah.
I will watch his channel for comedy and for fun. Somebody like Akshay Srivastava, if he start doing comedy, then I will never take him seriously and never. That's what not I
Yeah.
expect him. So that's why I think it puts the onus on the brand or the brand manager to find the right kind of creators or influencers who kind of fits in their niche, or who are maybe having a community of their TG. For example, if I am somebody who is into fintech, so I'll probably go to somebody like, let's say, Akshay Srivastava, Ankur Warikoo, etc., or Anshuman. I am somebody who wants to sell cool T-shirts, so I will probably go to somebody who is into fashion. There are people who are doing,
Yes.
ready with me, etc. So with those kind of consumers. So
So,
I think it's about finding the right fit of or right set of influencers. If their community is the right fit with your, or have a good overlap with your TG, then that's how I look at it.
what are the conversion numbers in general with influencer marketing? Like, how efficient is that mode of marketing? Like, at least in
See,
2024.
personally, if I tell you, if you have to be slightly persistent because
Hmm.
imagine yourself in a day you might be consuming 100 plus reels.
Okay.
So if I'm present on one of the reels,
Hmm.
and if with the same creator I do something 6 months later, the chances of you remembering me is very less because your attention span is very less. You are on your mobile also, laptop also, class bhi chalti hogi. So
Hmm.
multiple things are
Yeah.
going on. So I think personally there has to be some kind of a long term association between the brand and the creator, and you have to be persistent. So branding it's a very simple theory about reach and frequency. So let's
Hmm.
say you have 100 people to target, so you try to touch those 100 people, let's say thrice or four times or five times. So that's the frequency, how many times they are seeing your ads, and reaches let's say
Hmm.
100 people. So if your frequency is 1, then most likely they will not remember you.
They'll
But if
not.
your
Hmm.
frequency is 3 or 5, more the chances is they will remember you and then consume you.
Interesting. So who let's say are the right influencers for Flash that you're looking to collaborate with, let's say in the future?
So right now, so we as a platform, we are live on all the categories like beauty, fashion, finance, utility bills.
Hmm.
We are soon launching a new category of flights also. Then you can book flights from any platform, and then you can track real time where your flight, etc.
Hmm.
For us, like for example, beauty creators, uh, travel creators, fintech creators, and tech creators. These are the four buckets right now, which can be the right fit.
Very interesting. So, what are certain ad campaigns or let's say influencer campaigns that come to your mind which sort of strike a bell? Okay, this was the one that was like correct. Like this actually did it well.
I am actually personally I'm not a obviously the short form content, the reels and the shorts they give you a massive reach, but I'm
Hmm.
not personally a fan of that from as a brand manager. Because then my problem is because you're not able to gauge consumers' attention for long period of time, and then you're obviously not retaining him. So I really like the long form
Hmm.
content. For example, I really like what Wintwealth is doing
Went well.
right now.
Hmm.
I really like how Cred is doing with Anshuman, like Fix Your Finance with Anshuman.
Hmm.
I really like, on a personal terms, how Akshay Srivastava has built his community. Like today, I think he's close to 2 million followers on his YouTube channel, and then a very huge community, which is a paid community.
Hmm. And how? What do you think about paid communities in general? Right? Because that has kind of popped up in the past few, I think,
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
I think after
It's a,
scenes
it's
sort
a,
of
another
launched.
way YouTube has given to creators to monetize their content.
Hmm.
So in their paid community, you get certain extra services which you don't get as a
Hmm.
free member. For example, I am part of one community of Akshat. So for example, there he shares some more frequent updates on the trends that are going on in India and globally, trends about macroeconomics, etc.
Do you remember
And
the yeah? Do you remember the vault issue that kind of crept up
yeah,
with
I
Akshay
remember.
and
I
other
remember.
folks?
I think that kind of peaked because of SEBI also intervened in that
Hmm.
because many of the fin influencers recommended
Hmm.
putting money in that, but obviously everybody suffered
Do you
losses.
think do you think crypto has like a branding problem in general? Like the way it's kind of so crypto is more to do I think crypto is more to do with the technology than it is to do with the idea of making money off of it. Because for a general user, like I don't think anyone cares about how for a general user, nobody cares about what it's built on top of, like what is proof of work, what is proof of stake. Whereas they would much rather find a way to let's say mint or let's say flip an NFT that they bought at a higher price. So do you think they still have like a branding problem? And if let's say crypto the ecosystem wants to thrive, what's the way to brand it in a way that their interests are sort of aligned with the users?
I think personally, I don't think it has a branding problem. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that there are two set of people: one who understand crypto, one who don't understand crypto, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously they have lost a lot of money also because they were late to the party and they lost money, and then yeah, now they are saying it's all fraud. But people who have been
Mm-hmm.
invested for a long time, and even people are still invested in crypto. So I think it's maybe about understanding of the crypto, and obviously there are phases also. When certain things gets popular. For example, in last 2 3 years, Web3, NFT, these kind of things have really got hyped, but we don't see things shaping up in this space. But it's not that work is not happening on those fronts. For example, one of my seniors from IMT, he's right now running a startup called Aura. It is based on an
Hmm.
NFT only, and they are
Hmm.
into gaming, and they are doing pretty well. And they have a global product. They are not present in India, but globally they are doing really well. So maybe I think it's about finding the right market. Maybe crypto is not the, like, India is maybe not the right market, because
No, no, yeah.
in general we have very less. If from a percentage point of view, we have very less number of people who are investing in the market. I think it is less than 5%.
Yeah.
They are
Makes
very
sense.
new to
Yeah. Hmm.
equity market anyway. So crypto is, I think, another level. And everybody who you listen to in India or globally, they say that put. So when you design your portfolio, you put
Hmm.
some money in riskier bets. They can go zero also. They can give you 100x also. Just
Hmm.
like VCs investing in
Yeah.
startups.
Makes sense.
So it is that kind of asset for most of the people, and so I don't see a branding problem, to be
Brand
honest.
problem. I think it's more of like an education problem in general for the people.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about Zerodha's branding and the way they have come about their journey and becoming like a billion-dollar company? What role of branding do you think they had? Like, what are certain things that strike in your mind when I say the name Zerodha from a branding perspective?
So I think uh, when you say Zerodha or anybody says Zerodha, straight away Nitin and Nikhil comes to my mind. And to
Hmm.
be honest, they have been the true brand ambassadors of Zerodha ever since I have known about
Mm-hmm.
Zerodha. And they also claim that entire growth is word of mouth.
Hmm.
So, and this is another theory I personally believe in, that more than the brand, it's about the employees, who are the employees or the faces who are the real ambassador of the brand. And I
Hmm.
think how Nikhil and Nitin Kamath have been perceived in the market, that's what is the perception of Zerodha. A clean brand, uh, solving a very important problem. They started as a B2B brokerage
Mm-hmm.
kind of, which were helping brokers, and then eventually they came into B2C space. And obviously, COVID period also helped them to get that boost. But if you see their, for example, their marketing, to be honest, they don't do any kind of marketing at all. They have
Yeah.
purely word of mouth. Second, if you are a Zerodha user, they don't spam you with push notifications. So they
Mm,
send
yeah.
once in,
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
that too very important push
Very
notifications.
important. Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
will have like 100% of CTR, because you will never miss. Versus you go to any competitor brand, they will send you across, let's say, five notification. For example, I will not name the brand. There is a I use 3 4 platforms. So one of the platform keeps sending me कि आज Zomato के order में cockroach मिल गया. So मतलब,
Hmm.
these kind of events are like
Yeah.
1 in 10,000. मतलब, this will not impact your stock performance.
Okay, other than that, what do you think? What do you think about Cred in general, like the way they have built their brand? Because they involved I think it's called the neomorphic design, which is not existent in any other designs in general. So how do you think change? What do you think changed for them? Like, why do you think they have so much trust now?
I think, I don't know whether they have so much trust or not. I'm not sure,
Mm-hmm.
because personally, whatever. So there are two things. One is whatever you hear on social media, or whenever we like catch up on our friends. Also, we keep joking about cred. कि क्या है मतलब
Yeah.
cred coins? What are the
Is
use
it
of
like a
cred?
competitor now? Like it seems like one, right?
Yeah, मतलब cred coins, content बना
Uh,
रहे हैं. Then Kunal Shah is tweeting something every day.
yeah.
And credit card bill, so we can pay anyways using any other. But on the flip side, they have a very strong user base who
Mm-hmm.
use credit. You go to their Play Store, they have good ratings. And you go to any brands also, people get very good performance out of when there are ads on their platform, etc. So in a way, they have made a very good community of users, I believe. Although they have spent a lot of money. If you read
Yeah.
through their financials, you
Mm-hmm.
will know that they have blown out a lot of money. And with that kind of money, everybody will know
बनना ही चाहिए. Yeah, makes sense.
but I don't know that is sustainable or not. That's they have to think. But as a brand, I think they have really cut through terms of positioning, marketing, and standing out as a unique brand, which looks premium and is premium. They keep doing things. For example, recently I came to know. For example, I remember one of their campaigns which I really liked because there were a lot of chatter ki credit coins are
Mm-hmm.
used. Um, and then they came out with a campaign, donate your credit coins, and in return we'll give oxygen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They did something. It went really viral. Recently, I came across something they are doing in Bombay,
Mm-hmm.
where you can burn your credit coins, and वो एक game होता है ना,
You get stuff
you
like I
have
said.
to pick some stuff, so you can win really cool prizes. So
Interesting.
that's the way
What do you
to.
think about that approach? Like, doesn't that take away from the usefulness of credit coins in general? Like, because they have like some bilateral way to sort of use them apart from actually claiming those and gaining rewards.
To be honest, matlab, I personally, if I see, I don't really see any use of credit coins, to be honest, because
Mm-hmm.
any offer also uh, I get better offers on other platform. To be
Mm-hmm.
honest, it's just that they are aggregating all my credit cards at one place, so I keep coming back to them. Recently, they launched Garage, which is also very good. I think they did
Mm-hmm.
a massive launch around that. That was also very hype. They did like took
Yeah.
vintage cars in Bangalore, and they was standing outside their office. It was really cool launch, but I don't know about sustainability. I am not
Yeah,
sure.
I think the garage, Credit Garage is the only product or the wing they have which has good unit economics. Otherwise, everything is like a little bit haywire in general.
Yeah,
People are
well,
scared
it
of it.
has to do with the, so they will basically track all the challans, all the insurance and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And basically, in a way, they will be selling insurance to their
Makes sense.
users. And insurance as a space, you make money.
Makes money. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, what's coming for Flash next? What's coming?
So I'll just give you a quick summary what have we done and
Mm-hmm.
what are we building and what is the future looking like. So in last 6 months, the growth has been phenomenal. The response from Indian market has been phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
We are seeing one of the craziest or the highest, rather highest retention rates in the industry on a platform. People
Mm-hmm.
are spending a lot of time on the app, so the engagement is very high on the platform. And we have, I think, processed till now some 10 million emails, and we have processed, I think, somewhere around 5 million orders.
Yeah.
We have an annual run rate of roughly 1000 crore, and that is a big number for any 6 month old brand.
Mm-hmm.
And the kind of offerings we are giving, nobody has given it in India till now. Nobody is doing this globally. So that kind of set us as the leader or the trendsetter in the market. And we are getting very good response from consumers. We are getting very good response from the brands or the merchants that we have partnered with, and we are seeing very good response from the VC community also. And that's why we are backed by some of the best VCs in the ecosystem. uh, Recently, we hired our first CPTO, and
Mm-hmm.
the goal for the next 1 year, so to say, is to create an ecosystem where our consumers are benefiting,
Mm-hmm.
our brand partners are benefiting, and obviously, Flash is empowering both of them to achieve this. For example, we'll be doubling down on improving the experience of the consumer on the app. For
Mm.
example,
Interesting.
right now we keep getting one odd complaint, like one in
Mm-hmm.
thousand, that my email is not tracked, etc. But we
Mm.
are doubling down on that, and we are improving the consumer. For example, our vision is, for example, tomorrow you have to go to a Zomato.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do a Zomato table booking. You want to go
Yeah.
to Hawaii, for example. So you do table booking. So you do table booking. Then you get an offer from Blue Smart or Uber. So you
Mm-hmm.
get your Uber. You get your table reserved at the restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
and then on the way back home you get again Uber.
Uber.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
all those transactions, we are recommending you, this is the best place to go, this is the ride you should take. And then on the way back again, we are giving you some differentiated experience which you will not get if you are using a Gmail, for example.
Very
So
interesting.
we are trying to not just so cashbacks. We don't want to position ourselves as a cashback platform. So we are building this ecosystem where we are giving differentiated experiences to our consumers. For example, tomorrow imagine you are booking your flights using a flash.co.
Mm-hmm.
Every fifth flight you take, you get a free upgrade on your seat,
Mm,
free
interesting.
price. So that's the kind of thing we are things we are working on, so that people don't see us as a cashback reward app, but we people see us as a premium identity, which gives them a differentiated experience which no other people get if they are not on Flashdot. Similarly, for the brands, we are helping them uh, create the brand loyalty so that they can reward people who are continuously buying on their platform. We are helping them acquire quality users because the community we have created, these
Mm-hmm.
are one of the premium shoppers in India, as we call them, power shoppers
Yeah.
internally. But these kind of people are spending 10 to 12K in a month, doing 10 plus transactions in a month. On an average, people spend around 3 to 4K in India.
Yeah.
So that's why the kind of premium shoppers we have, and we are exposing it to brands. So it helps brands also a lot. It helps them to reward people who are showing loyalty to them.
Very interesting. So, like, just off the bat, right? Is this something similar to how like American Express positioned themselves back in the day? It also has something to do with like a little bit more of a differentiated experience, a little bit more of a better treatment, like better offers. Is it something? Are those folks like some form of competitors for you or no?
Not really, in fact, not at all, because they are
Interesting.
only into like rewards. They are not giving
Hmm.
you any other services that we are giving. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe that is one aspect, maybe where people can argue. But the things in pipeline for us is we are building far much better rewards. Because see, today you do any transaction on, let's say, Phone Pay, Paytm, Google Pay, you
Mm-hmm.
keep getting some rewards, but they are not really meaningful to you.
Yeah. Hmm. Makes sense. Hmm.
But I know that you stay in Powai, you might want to go to, मैं नाम भूल गया Powai के अच्छे pubs का, for example.
Hmm.
But let's say I give you some better
Rooftop lounge.
experience.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
say I book your table
Mm-hmm.
in Powai restaurants. That is the
Mm-hmm.
kind of experience we want to create, which is very personalized to a user. For example,
Hmm.
you are somebody who is traveling from Powai to Lower Parel every day. So we send like a Uber to you every day at 8 a.m. when you have to leave.
Interesting.
So
Hmm.
they
Very
are
interesting.
very personalized and like literally curated for every individual differently. Not just ki sabko ek hi because everybody is not same.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, we're almost like at the end of the conversation, but like this question might sound a little bit cliche, but what are the three things that like aspiring branding slash growth executives should need to keep in mind before their first gig?
I think first they should really break this myth that brand marketing or growth marketing is a luxurious job where you just shoot campaigns and make ads and all those things. I
Mm-hmm.
think my 90% time goes working on Excel only, because I
Hmm.
think data and research is very important. You have to understand your consumer, you have to understand things which are working for you, things which are not working for you. You might have a larger TG, like I explained you, like we have a bigger TG, but
Yeah.
there are different cuts. So a certain subset of the TG might get tempted by something else, and certain subset might get tempted by something else. Or let's say, if I have to tell you in universal language, so boomers,
Mm-hmm.
millennials, Gen Z, they
Yeah.
all can be your TG, but the way you talk to them has to be different. The
Different. Yeah.
channels you reach out to them has to be different. So you really need to spend time on what are the right channels and what is the right tonality you have to talk to your subgroups of the TG.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one thing, this is slightly contradictory to my previous statement. In brand marketing, you have to sometimes take some bold decisions also, and you have to
Mm-hmm.
take some calls that data might suggest otherwise. Or,
Interesting.
for example, I'll just quote one example here, and so at Farm Easy, our tagline used to be "Take it easy, Farm Easy."
Yeah.
And during COVID, we had to do a campaign, and we were stuck what to do. And then we came up with a tagline, which was a twist to our tagline. We said, "Don't take it easy."
Interesting.
And
Hmm.
people were skeptic about it because we had spent a lot of money in building that branding.
Yeah. Hmm.
But when we came out with this "Don't Take It Easy" campaign, and it was a massive hit. It was basically about don't take it easy, keep your mask on, wash your hands,
Interesting.
take vaccination, all those things. So sometimes you need to take those calls. Also, sometimes you will fail, sometimes you will learn, but you need to take those calls sometimes.
Very interesting.
I think these are my three, four. I think whatever learnings I have based on that, this is what I can suggest.
For sure. Thank you so much for your time, Amit. It's been a great time recording the podcast with you.
Thank
Okay.
you, Yash. Same
One
here.
second.